But it's an interesting thing because this is all very new. Like the idea of podcasts and these independent platforms that reach millions of people has never existed in human history. There's never been anything like this.
Right.
So guys like you and guys like me and people that are doing it, there's no roadmap to follow. Now, for young guys coming up or young girls coming up, like young non-binary folks coming up,
right,
they get to look at what we're doing and they see like a little bit of a roadmap. So for people that are getting involved in this right now, I love the fact that some 17-year-old kid in Michigan in his fucking apartment, or his bedroom can start a podcast, and if people like it, they keep tuning in, and then it can grow, and it can get to a point where that person could be the #1 podcaster in the world. You see it with like Twitch streamers and YouTubers. It's a fucking amazing time.
It levels the playing field. You don't need the network. Talent generally, if you do it enough, can rise.
It's more than leveling the playing field because you're uninhibited. You're unhindered by corporate interests. So you have this ability to talk about things in a way that, like, there was never a long-form discussion of complicated ideas for hours and hours uncensored that ever existed before.
Right.
Didn't exist until podcasts came along. So it's not even a level playing field. Like, they're working hindered. They have ads. They have to cut every fucking 7 minutes and go to commercial break. They have corporate interests that like review what they're doing. They have to have meetings with managers and executives. I don't have any of that. Zero. So it's not level at all. I have a monstrous above and beyond. I'm drunk and high on 45% of the podcasts that I do. Like, what are you talking? The advantage is 100% on my side.
Yeah.
Because it didn't exist before, and I'm a pioneer. I'm one of the early guys. So because I've been around it now for 13 years, I've been doing it for 13 years, I've amassed a following that's been paying attention for so long. It's like, it's not even.
That's also why I think you're perceived, I know, as a threat. Because you can say what you want, and you can also influence politics, whatever it may be, and they can't get to you, really.
Well, I don't know if that should be perceived as a threat. I think they're looking at it the wrong way. If they were an individual, I would say you shouldn't look at it that way. You should look at it like, what are the benefits of doing something in the way that person does, and whether or not you can adjust and do whether you don't think like I'm sure they do, but what I would say, if they were an individual, I know they're a corporation, so it's sort of a different entity. But if they were an individual, I would tell them you're looking at it the wrong way. If someone's out there killing it, don't look at that person as a threat. Look at that person as like, what did they do? How did they do that? Why do they do that so differently? Why is it so effective? Like, what's the flaws in my delivery? What's the flaws in my application? What's the flaws in the way I'm promoting my thing? And why doesn't that resonate with people? If you have someone who speaks like a normal person, like who speaks like you would if you're having a drink with a buddy, that resonates with people. They go, oh, I get it. Dave Portnoy's a fucking regular guy.
Totally.
I get it. I like to listen to him. Even if I don't agree with him, at least I know where he's coming from. That's a regular person. When you're listening to Don Lemon talk, you don't get any of that. There's a way of discussing things that if that guy was in your living room talking like that, you'd be like, what's wrong with you?
Right,
we got to get him out of here. He's crazy. I think he's on drugs.
Right.
You'd be like,
yeah, no, 100%.
Nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like a news anchor when they're alone with you, right? So that's one of the reasons why, like, Greg Gutfeld works, right? When that guy's doing his show, when they're sitting around with a bunch of people talking, they're laughing.
Right.
They're talking normal. That's why it works so well. People are like, how is that the #1 late night show? How's it not?
Right.
How's it not? Look at what he's doing. He's him.
That's across the board. Like we just did our first, we had the rights to a college football game, and we announced it as though we had a rooting interest because we did. And half the people loved it, half hated it. But even the people hate it. It's like, this is how we talk in our living room. That's what people want.
Yes.
They want just normal.
That's what people want.
Yeah.